This is the plaintiff, Justine Sales. She says she gave the defendant a deposit on a bouncy castle for her daughter's 8th birthday. But unfortunately, she had to cancel the party because her car broke down and she couldn't afford both. The heartless defendant refuses to return her deposit, even though he only had it for a few days. And she's here in the name of justice and what's right, suing for the $700 she's owed. This is the defendant, Maurice Catney. He says he lost out on using that bouncy castle for another party due to the plaintiff's cancellation, and deposits are simply non-refundable. He told the woman she could have a $200 credit for a party sometime down the road. She wouldn't hear of it, so here they are. He's accused of getting bounced into court. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $180, the remaining balance on the booking.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says that she gave the defendant a deposit on a bouncy castle for her daughter's birthday, but it was never delivered and she wants her money back. Now, the defendant says that the plaintiff tried to cancel on him, and that's not permitted under the contract. It's the case of gotta bounce.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Ms. Sales, you are suing Mr. Catney and his business Rocket Bounce LLC for a $200 deposit that you gave him on a party you decided to cancel, and also $500 in pain and suffering. And you are counterclaiming against her the remaining balance on the party. Let me hear from you first, Ms. Sales. When did you contact him?
On October the 18th.
October the 18th. And when was the party going to be?
On October the 28th, my daughter's birthday.
10 days later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you hired him, and what exactly was the agreement between the two of you?
The agreement was, so I had put $200 down for the bounce house. Well, I had wanted a bounce house, and I had wanted 2 LOL dolls as well.
What are LOL dolls? For the uninitiated,
like
my kids are grown. I'm a Barney person.
So they're like these tiny dolls, and they're like tiny Barbies.
Okay.
And I don't know, like they dress up. I can go and grab one if you.
How
you
far
want me
is
to,
it
so
from
you?
you?
Can just see. It's like literally like in the other room. I can have my daughter like bring one.
Yeah, holler at someone to bring it to you. Why don't you do that?
Hold on one second. Oreo, yes? Could you bring me an LOL doll? But it's like these little dolls that, you know, the girls pretty much go crazy over these dolls. And I had wanted to, here's one.
Okay. All right, yes, the big eyes, that always does it. All right, so they're little plastic dolls, and all right, so he was gonna have characters show up at the party. How many characters?
I had ordered 2 of them.
Okay, so your contract was for a bounce house and 2 LOL characters to show up, correct? Mm-hmm. All right, and you were supposed to pay how much? $380 was the total?
Yeah. So
all
altogether, so at first I paid him the $200, and then upon arrival, I was going to pay him the remaining balance for the 2 dolls.
And what happens?
I had end up canceling the party because my car had broke down, and I really needed to, you know, get the car fixed. I need the car to get to work and, you know, everything like that.
So how many days after sending him the 200 do you tell him, I'm canceling the party, I need the 200 back?
So I reached back out to him on the 24th of October.
And you had given him the money what day? The 18th?
The 18th.
So on the 24th.
He wouldn't even let me book the party, you know, without giving him the $200.
Yeah, of course. Because he's a business. He's not your relative. He's a business. He's trying to put food on the table. So he gets the 200, you book the party, and then you change your mind about the party because your car breaks down and you need the money for that. So was your daughter heartbroken?
She was.
Yeah. So what happens?
I mean, we had to end up doing something else. And then I tried to put something small together because I had ended up reaching back out to him because I was just like, all right, forget it. I'll just have just the bouncy houses and I'll just have, you know, a few kids over. But he ended up not even wanting to take any of my phone calls. So I just had like a get together with it was just small, you know, cake and ice cream, and everybody brought her presents and stuff over.
Right.
But, you know, she was still like asking like, you know, well, you know, where's the bounce house and, you know, where's the characters? I had explained to her that I had to cancel the party, but I was like, I don't know, maybe I could still, you know, have the bounce house and stuff like that. And he had even said something too, like he had needed the $181, for the dowels. And, we had agreed that I was gonna pay the $181 the day of the party. So, I didn't have the $181, so I had paid for the bounce house. So I was like, all right, well, he could just still bring the bounce house. And, he didn't even want to do that.
Did she say that to you, Mr. Catney? To
No,
just
she
bring the bounce house?
No, she didn't.
All right. Would you have brought the
I
bounce house
did.
if she had said to you, just bring the bounce house?
Yes, I would.
What did she want? According to you, what was it she was demanding? A full refund?
Yes, that's the only thing that she was demanding was a full refund of cash. And she was also the only reason I don't have a lot of text messages and things to show you is because I actually had to block her on Facebook because she reached out to me every day, sending me messages.
Well, that would be
harassing
good evidence to show me. Why didn't you unblock it so that you could show me that in court
No,
today?
I did unblock it, but I actually deleted them because, I didn't think it would actually come to court or anything.
Yeah, never do that. You're a businessman, right? And you got a person who's unhappy, assume it's going to go to court and keep your evidence. But in any event, did she ever in any of those texts or Facebook messages tell you, all right, well, I can't afford the other two, but if you're going to keep my 200, then bring the bounce house? Did she ever say that to you?
No, she didn't.
What was
Because
it she was saying? Give me back my money. You don't have a right to keep my money. I changed my mind. I canceled the party.
She was basically harassing me and bringing up God and sending me Bible scriptures and telling me just I'm a bad person. It was just harassment. So I just literally erased everything and I blocked her. And, because at the end of the day, I'm in the business. I do this for kids. She clearly canceled her kids' event. And she probably wanted the money back for her car because she had car problems, but that's not my problem.
The best solution would have been to compromise. It's always better to compromise and not end up in court. And, so if you had just said to him at any point in time, Ms. Sales, just bring the bounce house, but it sounds to me from the evidence in the case that you really just wanted your money back and you were hoping to get your money back. So you never asked for the bounce house because then you definitely in your head not get them.
I spoke to him on the phone. And
I thought you said he wasn't taking any of your calls. That's what you said.
He wasn't, but he wasn't taking any of my phone calls after we spoke on the phone. He just didn't want to hear anything else that I had
Right.
to say.
Are you able to prove at all that he was supposed to bring the bounce house, that you told him, all right, if I'm paying for the bounce house anyway, just bring it? Can you prove that at all? Because everything I'm seeing is just you asking for your money back.
Yeah, because he stopped answering the phone, so I couldn't.
Okay. By the way, was anything in writing ever? Was there ever a written contract?
Yes, I have I just have an invoice and things from her from when we went back.
Anything she signed acknowledging the terms and conditions? That's what makes a contract, a written contract. Okay. Let me also suggest to you that is something else you should be doing from now on, and it's not hard to do. You should have something in writing that you have people sign, including waiver of liabilities, because, figure it out, spend a few hours on the internet or with a lawyer and figure it out, because you should be having something in writing. Either way, there are written contracts, which I, of course, prefer as a judge, but there are verbal contracts, and verbal contracts are completely enforceable. You have a verbal contract with him that you're going to pay him $380 and he is going to give a party. And then all of a sudden there's a change in your circumstances, which I respect. I respect the fact that you had the car payment and then you're trying to be responsible and everything else, but you did have a contract with him and you don't get to just pull out of it because things change. It is a contract. He has a right to hold your feet to the fire on a verbal contract that you made with him. You admit you made the verbal contract, and deposits are, by default, non-refundable. Why? Because the very reason you said, oh, he wouldn't even book the party without my giving him the money. Well, yeah, because otherwise he could get other business, right? So the only thing that made him book the party for you and save the date is getting the deposit. Of course, that deposit's non-refundable. Otherwise, what's the point of making you pay it if you can just take it back? Deposits are if there's nothing said by anybody, you need to assume that a deposit is going to be non-refundable because you are paying in exchange for reserving a date. That's how that works. I don't think you're entitled to that $200, much less $500 for pain and suffering. If I saw the slightest bit of evidence that you asked for that bounce house to come and he didn't deliver it, I would rule your way on the $200 at least. But I don't see that anywhere. And I can't imagine that if you had asked for that, he would have said, no, The heck
But
with
he
your
did,
8-year-old.
though.
I just can't imagine that. But
put it like he was
she's
doing me a
upset
favor.
because you're upset because you saw he had the same birthday as your child, right?
He did.
Right. And then so you went on his Instagram on the day of that would have been the party, and what did you see, Miss Sales?
I seen him. He was at another party.
Okay. Whose party?
Giving a whole nother event.
Right.
I don't know whose party it was.
Okay.
But that's the thing. Like if he would have answered my phone calls, then we could have discussed him probably bringing the bouncy house over. But he wouldn't
so I
take
guess you
any
never
of my
really
phone
did
calls.
get
And
to
like he
discuss
said,
it, right?
He
You
blocked
said
me on
earlier you had
Facebook.
discussed it with him, but now it turns out that you actually didn't. All right. It's like I'm a lie detector up here.
Perfect.
Just
like it.
tick,
I
tick,
love to see
tick,
it happen.
tick, tick. All right. You're suing her for $180 for the remaining balance of the contract. Let me hear from you on that, Mr. Catney.
Yes, I'm just suing for the rest of the balance just because she brought me to court this morning. You know, it really wasn't that serious to me.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions. This other party, was that the bounce house that would have gone to her place, or was it a different bounce house? How many bounce houses do you have?
I have a whole lot of bounce houses, and I do a great business in Cleveland, Ohio, and everyone knows that. That's why she booked her event with me, because she knows I do great business in the city.
Okay,
And,
now the people who you were hiring as characters, you would have had to pay them, I guess, what?
I pay them by the hour.
By the hour. So you
Yes.
you were able to cancel them because she canceled you. So you didn't pay anybody that 180, right?
No, I
Right.
didn't pay any because
Right.
she canceled her.
Right.
But I had other events going on that day as well that I didn't even think that would be brought up today because that's irrelevant. My other bookings that I had.
Well, I think what she wanted to say, I think she thinks you maybe only have one bounce house and you didn't lose any money. So
I have over 10 bounce houses.
Okay.
I have over 20 characters, and I do great business.
right, and I don't think it's that relevant either. I mean, I can understand why she'd bring it up as an argument, but you're entitled to the benefit of your bargain. You're entitled to your lost profits. You're entitled to that.
Thanks.
So, but I think the 200 covers your lost profits, and I don't think you're entitled to any more. And I'm not going to order her to pay you the other 180. On your lawsuit against him, Ms. Sales, I'm ruling in his favor. And on Mr. Catney's lawsuit against you, I am ruling in your favor. I'm not going to order you to pay the rest of it because you did cancel it in enough time for him not to be out any money on the character portion. And you didn't have to bring the bounce house there. So 200 covers I believe, your lost profits plenty. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
So the plaintiff does not prevail in this lawsuit. She was seeking $700 from the defendant. The way it works out is he's getting $200 from her. So let's talk to her. Ms. Sales, how do you feel about the judge's verdict? What are you thinking right now?
Obviously, I have no comment.
You must be thinking something, though. Or you can't be just
I'm thinking
not
that I
reacting
have
at all.
no comment.
Mr. Catney, let me ask you, do you feel bad for her at all? I mean, she had promised this nice party for her daughter, but she didn't get it.
No, well, I don't feel bad for her at all because I don't think she's a good person, but I feel bad for the daughter. So if anyone in the family can reach out to me and I can do something for the little girl out the kindness of my heart, that'd be on me. You feel me?
All right. Well, that's very kind of you. At least you got a good heart. Okay. And that'll bring this case to a close. Harvey?
So one of the clauses that are really important in a contract is the cancellation clause. It's real important to know when you have a right to pull the plug on a contract if things aren't going well. So you should be specific about that. Sometimes you forget about it because when you sign the contract, you expect things are going to go well, but the fact is, as you see on the People's Court, they don't always go well at all. So think about that cancellation policy and insert something in the contract. It could really help you down the line.
Maryland, have you ever tried 19 Crimes wine? I guess it's a California red, and I don't know if you have or haven't, but what's your favorite wine? You probably solved 19 crimes, right?
I have tried that one. I think that's the one where you, not sure, but I think there's some trick to the label where you scan the QR and it'll tell you a history of one of the crimes.
The grim-faced fellow on the front.
Some like sick thing that I would find thrilling. Yeah.
Right.
My favorite is Paul Meyer. Paul Meyer,
That's some highbrow stuff.
That's some highbrow stuff. 2018. It's Brad Pitt in a bottle. Is what that is.
In a bottle.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Well, my favorite is probably a beer or a glass of rye whiskey on the rocks, maybe something like that.
And there's actually a number of wines that I love that are in the $25, $30 category, which
Right.
Conundrum is one.
You can get some really
The Federalist
nice,
is another.
spectacular wines. In fact, you can fool your friends. Get the $100 bottle and a $25 bottle, and they'll
They
mess
won't
up.
know. My friends won't know.
Right.
They'll be looking for the beer.
Right.